So what? Show up again tomorrow. And tomorrow out of that dog shit, a flower will emerge. You never know. And that's the only way to develop real.
And you understood that you don't need to go back to that mistake again.
These things in life are not easy for me. You look to your left, you look to your right, and you start to judge yourself off other people.
I'm a winner. I'm going to win. You're born with a gift. It's not that then you get good at something along the way. What you're good at, you don't take for granted. You don't betray it. What if you do? Betray your gift? And you betray yourself. For far too long, you've been holding yourself back. This is time for you. To walk with purpose, it's time for you. To walk into your gift.
Like, to really develop your potential 100% in anything, whether it's as an author or even as a martial artist. There's a lot of creativity in martial arts. To be a great striker, you have to be creative because you have to develop patterns or execute patterns that aren't going to be perceived. This idea that life is hard, something you're supposed to shield from them, it's so silly. And, you know, I've had this conversation with my friends because, so we put our kids in these good schools, we live in these nice neighborhoods, everybody eats healthy, and there's no fucking domestic violence, and everybody seems, it's so different than all of our lives. And we were talking about it. Me and Brian Callen were actually talking about it.
And yes, sometimes you may make the same mistakes, but those mistakes can be even more crucial in your life. And this is why you must continue to push forward and get rid of the things that are not making you better. The battle continue. Carry on. Be productive. Be powerful. And from the bottom of my heart, conduct your business. Lights, camera, action. How much action do you have flowing through your veins right now?
And they're all interesting, but I don't want my kids to be boring, but I also want them to be safe. So it's like, how do you approach that? I mean, I think you get involved. This is what I've chosen to do, is get my kids involved in martial arts and give them the opportunity to pursue difficult things, and understanding that through pursuing these difficult things, like in accomplishing stuff, like you learn something about yourself. You learn that you have this ability inside of you to overcome. Get obsessed with life improvement. Find things that you enjoy doing that are difficult, do them and get better at them. It seems so simplistic. It seems like a ridiculous, idealistic point of view, but it's effective. Well, you need some amount of pride and some amount of ego to get good at things in the first place, because it's such a counterintuitive notion, because you have to have a belief in yourself. You have to be able, like when you start out at jiu-jitsu, you're a white belt. Like, I remember being a white belt and being like, oh.
How far are you willing to push yourself? Or are you the type of person that likes to sell wolf tickets? Like to fake the funk? Pretending you're doing something when you're really not? How much effort are you honestly putting into your craft, into your ideas, into your work? Whatever it is that you got going on in your life, what are you prepared to do? Action. Think about that for a minute. How long have you been stuck in a rut, constantly making the same mistakes over and over again? But there's nothing wrong with mistakes. But why do you keep making them? The same mistakes. Keep making yourself, putting yourself in a position where you can't go beyond those mistakes. Constantly making excuses. All you're doing is preaching. All you're doing is putting out words. But there's no action. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to put the action in. You got to be about your business.
It's time for you to live your best life. We're going to make mistakes. You got to own them. Then you got to make amends. And then you got to move on, so turn the page, get off the ride. You are the author of the book of your life. Turn that page. The only person you're destined to become is the person you decide to be. You never made a mistake, it means you never tried. If you never tried, means you never took a chance.
Like, if you're a female, well, she's skinny and she doesn't work out as hard as I do, and everything starts to corrupt your mind. You start to look around too much at other people and what they're doing, and that starts to corrupt your own dialogue. We are judging ourselves against too many people. You have to judge yourself against yourself. And that's the one thing I started learning, man. This isn't a race against me and other people. This is a race against David Goggins and David Goggins alone. And once you can silence all that bullshit, all the outside interference and things that are attracting your mind to everything, you can then start to grow and realizing I'm stressed out for no reason. This is my own little race. This is my own timeline, and this is how I'm going to run it. The conversation has to become an honest conversation of where you're at mentally. Where am I at mentally?
If you never took a chance, you never believed in yourself. You never had faith. You need faith, you need to believe in yourself. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. What matters is you keep getting up every day and trying again. That's what really is important. Knowing that you know each day you have an opportunity to change, but I want to give you a new word for change. And that word is evolution. And who are you? Going to evolve or inspire, see everything.
What you believe you deserve, and you're allowing it to happen. And I'm going to challenge you today to stop that. Stop allowing it and know that you deserve better. And so we're going to talk about something very ironic today that doesn't seem connected to it, but it's absolutely connected to it. And that's ego. See, the truth is ego is always false. Ego is always something that raises its head when we're insecure, when we're fearful. If you meet people that you think are egomaniacs that are constantly bragging about themselves, these are the most insecure people that you know. They're the most fearful people that you know. They're the most scared, and they're usually the least happy. And so, but I'm going to say something to you today. I want you to consider as I go through ego today. I know you think, wow, I'm so down on myself. How could I have an ego? It's actually the people that are down on themselves that actually have their ego materialize and show up more often than they think. And it's their ego that may actually be holding them back. You think, wow, how could someone with low self-esteem have a big ego? Well, trust me, they do. And so egos are not part of people with high self-esteem. The people in my life that are the most self-confident typically don't have big egos.
Look like shit. I feel like shit. I'm falling behind in school. I'm lazy. My house is a mess. You have to look at what it is and call it what it is. Don't find words to make yourself feel better. Because we hang around people that make us feel better, that tell us what we want to hear, not what we need to hear. And so we stay away from those people. And we stay away from those people, like our internal dialogue becomes that kind, it's okay. It's not okay. So that's where it starts. It starts with that accountability of it's not okay anymore. This can no longer be okay. And calling yourself out for exactly what you are and exactly how you need to fix it.
We have an epidemic in this world. The epidemic I'm talking about it
changes, the economy changes, relationship changes, we change mentally and emotionally and physically, and you are either dying or you are either living life. Always offers you a second chance. You know what it's called. Tomorrow, see change as growth, see change as transformation, see change as evolution. Your history is not your destiny. You can't get it because you want it. If you put in the work, they can't deny you.
And so I want to talk to you about that today. By the way, I'm covering this today like many things I cover because it's something I struggle with. My ego will step forward often in my life, and it usually steps forward when I'm the most scared. It could be when I'm achieving. I'm starting to be pretty full of myself, right? But a lot of times when you're achieving and you're full of yourself, what's really happening in your mind is you're afraid you're going to fall down. You're afraid you're going to lose something. You're afraid there's going to be a setback. So often our friends where we see their ego is when they're doing good. Or she thinks she looks so good, she's showing herself. Actually, she doesn't think she looks good, and she's looking for validation from other people. You guys that have a friend, he's really winning, he's making a lot of money, he's just not the same. He's got a big ego all of a sudden. You'd be surprised. That money he's making, that car he's driving now, he's so afraid he's going to lose it. He's so scared. He so believes his results have exceeded who he really is. He's so out over his skis that ego shows up because he's afraid. When you see ego, know it usually means fear. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it's true.
In days to come that you are grateful for. What it will begin to do is to change your perspective of your day and your life.
Maybe you're not understanding exactly what it's going to really take to get to that point in your life where you can accept the fact that, hey, this is it.
You don't need to think of how to make $1 million. You need to think of this gift if you have that can make you $10. $10.
People start doing it all over the world, rapid fire, in a very short amount of time. Why? Because it became real people had living proof that it was possible. 4 minutes, what is that? It's an artificial stopping point, a self-created limit. It does not exist, just like the reason you think you can't write the next best-selling book or the reason you go to a job you hate. Every day, because you've settled. You've limited your potential without even realizing it. Why would you cut yourself off there?
I believe that if you can learn to focus on what you have, you will always see that the universe is abundant and you will have more. If you concentrate and focus in your life on what you don't have, you will never have enough. Be grateful. Keep a journal. You all are all over my journal tonight.
I always understood that there really was no difference between me and the audience. At times, I might have had better shoes, but at the core,
I got to put that work in. I got to apply myself. How bad do you want it? That's all you ever talked about. It's all you ever dreamed about. All you did was wait around, hoping that someone was just going to hand you the keys to the city. No one is just going to hand you over their keys and expect you to drive. In fact, you don't even have a license to understand what it means to get what it is you really want. So if you're not in the mindset, if you're not prepared, if you're not willing, if you're not able, you can forget about it. Your want becomes wasted.
What really matters, that we are the same. Do you know how I know that? Because all of us are seeking the same thing. You're here at this fabulous school, and we'll go out into the world and each pursue based upon what you believe your talents are, what your skills are, maybe your gifts are, but you're seeking the same thing. Everybody wants to fulfill the highest, truest expression of yourself as a human being. That's what you're looking for.
You will never be able to see that victory that you want so bad. So if you're going to do it right. Keep it tight. Keep it moving. And conduct your business. There comes a time in everyone's life that you're going to be facing certain challenges. You're trying to figure out what direction you need to go. You're trying to find out who you are, what you are, and what you are ultimately made of. And these things are going to happen on a day-to-day basis because when you start your day, you don't really know or understand what's coming. Yeah, sure, you may have a plan. You may know exactly what direction you want to go. But then comes this obstacle, some type of thing that just got in your way, and it completely throws you off.
The highest, truest expression of yourself as a human being. And because I understand that if you're working in a bakery and that's where you want to be, and that may be what you've always wanted to do, is to bake pies for people or bake cakes for people or to offer your gift, then that's for you. And there's no difference between you and me, except that's your platform. That's your show every day. So my understanding of that has allowed me to, to reach everyone. And there's no way that you wouldn't, because that's what I truly feel.
I recently spoke to a man who was about to abandon his path of spiritual study because he couldn't seem to align himself with the laws of life. In essence, he couldn't make the law work for him. He had done all of the right things and he had said all of the right affirmations. He was praying and meditating and listening. Still, his life was a mess.
There's so much more to attain, so much more to achieve, so much waiting. Man, life is just too short to not make the most out of it, to get in the way of your own greatness. Why would you decide to wake up every day and not feel like it was the best gift possible? Not take advantage? Why would you limit that for yourself? There will be times when you struggle. There will be tough days. There will be times of self-doubt, but let it all fall to the wayside. See past it. Your destiny lies far beyond any self-made wall. Take that with you.
Let me ask you a question. How many of you have something that you could do that you could charge someone $10 for? I don't care if it's braiding hair, cutting grass. I don't care if it's making beads. I don't care if it's making clothes. All of you have something. You can tutor somebody for $10. You can babysit somebody for $10. Then guess what you do? Go do that. Then when you make the $10, I want you to do it 10 more times. You'll have $100. After you do that 10 times, I want you to do it 10 more times. Whatever you did to make $100, do it 10 more times. You'll have $1,000. After you make $1,000, here's what I want you to do. Whatever you did to make the $1,000.
And the more and more you start to see that change is not pain, you're going to see transformation. Your life's going to experience a quantum leap because now, even though in your childhood you were traumatized because of change, your history is not your destiny. See, those of you who will evolve, who are willing to evolve, you will inherit the future. Those of you who are willing to take everything you do to the next level, you will inherit the future. It is the individual who is willing to become more. Change is inevitable. And you are either changing for the worse or changing for the better. You decide. Change is an invitation to the future. If I can change, I can have my future.
There have been times in my life when I've been down. I've been out, I've been afraid, I've looked up at the road ahead and been completely unsure, and I can say firsthand when you're going through a situation like this, that it essentially consumes you. Right, it's all you see, it's all you think about, to the point where the good stuff, the opportunity all around you, it becomes transparent. You see right through it.
Listen to me. I want you to do it 10 more times. You will have $10,000. Now here's the hard part. When you make $10,000, here's what I want you to do. Take that $10 thing that you made $10,000 with, and I want you to do it 10 more times. Just multiply all of your efforts by 10. That 10,000 turns into $100,000. Now, after you make $100,000, you're gonna have to hire some people. They're gonna have some people working for you, so you can keep doing it in multiples of 10. But after you make $100,000, I got news for you. I want you to listen to this real careful. Here's what you have to do. This is the catch. Whatever you did to make $100,000, you have to do that 10 more times. Once you do that 10 more times, congratulations.
Another reason why people hate change is because not only do they see change as pain, but all they see change is as failure. And it's because every time you've made a change, you have failed. And you have to start identifying change with a new layer of belief. People tell me all the time, it's hard to get wealthy. It's hard to grind. It's hard to be focused. How do you even do these speeches? It's hard to stay motivated. It's hard to stay broke. It's hard to stay depressed. It's hard to stay governed by anxiety. It's hard to be inconsistent. It's hard not to have daily disciplines. It's hard not to believe in yourself. It's hard to be broke. It's hard to be poor. It's hard. It's all hard. So choose your heart. You either gonna work for it, you're gonna sit there and let life knock you down and dare you to get back up. So I see the privilege. I see the moment.
It's the negative, it's misfortune for a period of time that becomes your narrative, becomes the story. What if this is forever? What if I'm not as good as I want to be, as they are? What if things don't work out? Never mind the fact that you've been here before and you've battled back. Never mind how far you've come. No, that takes a back seat to the discomfort that we feel right now. And that's the irrationality of the human mind we forget. We forget that the lows create the highs, that temporary isn't forever, that you can't stand with any type of authority if you've never before fallen. Accomplishing anything is never just walking up and reaching a goal. Please do watch our other motivation videos on the screen now. Thank you.
Well, same advice I give to my kids, man. If I could get them to understand the importance of their 20s. Because, man, you know what I did? I just blew my 20s. I ended up spending all of my 30s fixing what I messed up in my 30s. Now, I spent all of my 40s doing what I could have been doing in my 30s. I looked up, man, I had let too much time slip away. If you could get young people to get their foot on the gas pedal in their 20s, because right now they think going out is everything. And I keep telling them, man, you're gonna outgrow that in a minute. Because, you know, like at this age, it's when somebody says, hey, we're gonna go out to a club tonight. go out to a club. Are you kidding me? It don't make no sense to you now because you're over that. But it takes a minute for them to understand it, man. It's sad. I wish they'd get it. But I wasn't clubbing in my 20s. I didn't know how to make a vision board. I didn't know how to. What really changed my life, man, was I got in Amway when I was about 24. I got in Amway. And that changed my life, man, because the first time ever, they introduced me to self-help books. And I read 2 books that changed my life. It was The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale and The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. I read them books and it changed my life. But it also made me remember what my mother had taught me because she was a Sunday school teacher, because all self-help books are Bible-based. It's nothing, everything comes from the Bible. All them self-help books, that's Proverbs. That's all it is. It's the book of wisdom and understanding. If you could read that, it change your life too. But sometimes you need, regular books where you can relate to it differently. But it's all comes from the Bible. It's like a great book is The Secret, but if you read The Secret, it's all Bible versed. I mean, it's just based on the Bible. You can't think of nothing new how to tell a person to succeed without the Bible. You can't. It doesn't work that way, so. A couple of books changed my life, man. But The Magic of Thinking Big was huge. It just taught me one simple principle. It don't cost no more energy to think big than it does small. You can say Volkswagen and you can say Rolls Royce with the same amount of effort. You ain't got to grunt to say Rolls Royce. So if the Bible is true, which it says a man is as he thinketh, if you think poor thoughts, you got to be poor. The moment you change that thought into wealth or riches, you start the process to becoming wealthy or rich. It's not a magic trick. It's really how it works. People complicate it. You got to do this and you got to do that. But the Bible's pretty plain. They ain't got no loopholes in it. Really don't. It's just real simple. It say what it say.
This is money. This is what people want so much of, right? And this is why so many people, how many of you know people that got it and then lost it all? They get it. Ed was taking money, he'd get $8 an hour or whatever, and somebody pays him $100, and somebody pays him $800, and somebody pays him $8,000, and a guy wins a lottery, whatever. You get the money. Now what? Number 1 rule, get the money. Everybody with me? Get the money. Everybody's like, can I get it? See, you got that conflict going right now. You got that conflict. Skinny man's like, shit, it's close. It's close. Should I get it? Should I get it? I think I should get it because of what he called me earlier. I should get it. Okay, so check it out. See, here's the deal, right? You guys think this is mine, so you don't take it from me. You're like, I can't take it, it's his. This is not my money. Whose money is this? Could be yours. Okay, this money, before it was my money, it was somebody else's. Everybody agree with that? I'm gonna make this so simple. I spent 17 years and went in debt trying to understand money and knew nothing when I was done. Okay, I'm just gonna make this simple for you. This money, it's got Ben Franklin on it. Who was Ben? I thought he was the president. Guy's not even, all I know for sure is I cannot trust him. I look at him, I'm like, not trustworthy. Does he look trustworthy to you? Okay, come on, fix your hair. Okay, so this month, this piece of paper right here, I'm like, whose was this before I had it? Because if you can go back to what happened before this happened and understand where it's coming from and tie it together with the commerce and circulation, okay, if you want money, you must meet people. It's not the bank that has this money. It's not the institution or a company. There's a person, okay? Right now, I have this money, but this is not my money. This is somebody else's money that I get to hold on to for a moment. You understand? Okay? So number one rule of money. How do I get it? Is that simple enough? Get it, earn it. But once you get it, now what? How do I keep it? How do I keep it? Well, you can't invest it immediately. You got to keep it, and then you got to make some decisions. This is where most people get hung up right now. Most people get it and they keep it. You got a job. Anybody can get a job. You can get a job. I'm going to get $50 an hour or $25 an hour or $15 an hour. But nobody, the government's not going to tell you, okay, once you get it, now what? What's your move? What's your play? I'm going to tell you what happens with people that get lazy. People that get lazy are losing. They're losing in life. If I keep losing over and over and over again, I lose. I try something, I lose again. I try something, I lose again. Then me and him hang out, and we both losing. And then the three of us are hanging out, and all three of us are losing. And the next thing I look up, I'm like, you know what? I just don't have any motivation for life, man. I'm losing too much. Winning's underrated. Y'all need to win. Okay? So when I get money and then I lose the money, I'm like, I don't want anything to do with this money. You understand? When I get it and then somebody rips me off of it, I'm like, I'd just rather not have it. How many heard this before? Money won't make you happy. How many heard it before? Money won't make you happy. That's from somebody that failed with money. Okay? Okay, you want to write this down. The next time you hear somebody say money won't make you happy, it's somebody that failed with money.
Mr. Schultz said to me that he thought it was a worthy goal to become financially independent for 3 major reasons. First, with money no longer a time-consuming consideration, I could then begin devoting heavy time to all the other dimensions of my life. Second, he suggested I become financially independent because it would tremendously increase my ability to help others, only from positions of strength, including financial strength. Can we help someone else? Finally, and most important, he said, I believe it is worthwhile to become financially independent for the sake of developing the person you must become to achieve that goal. What a major secret he taught me. Set a goal to entice you to become the person it takes to achieve it. Reaching the goal is the lesser value. The primary value lies in the person you become by reaching it. You see, it's not the $1 million that's most important. It's what you must do and become in order to be a millionaire. We're all aware that many people feel that we must be careful of focusing on money or affluence or abundance. That in it, or in the pursuit of it, there is danger. We often hear quoted from the Bible, the love of money is the root of all evil. And I do agree. If you make money your love, and you pursue affluence to the exclusion of, or at the expense of, other values of life, you have lost, not won. However, let us consider this question. If you could do better, should you? That's not a bad question. In the time allotted to labor, in the time given to economics, care for family, success, achievement, productivity, the creation of value, the development of skills and creativity, if you could do better, should you? I think that one of the greatest satisfactions of living life to the fullest is doing the best you can with whatever you have. Doing less than your best has ways of eroding the psyche. We seem to be creatures of enterprise. Surely it is the reason for the seasons. The soil and the sun and the rain and the seed all say, what can you do with us? The seasons say, do you have the genius to make something unique of us? Life says, here's the raw material. What splendid things can you produce from all there is? So, go for high productivity, the full employment of your genius, the full development of your potential in all areas of your life, including earning money. That is the essence of life. Truly sophisticated people know it isn't the amount that counts. It's doing all that you can with all you've got that counts.
That came into town, entertainers like Sam Cooke, Donna Ross and the Supremes, the Four Tops and the Temptations. I would drive them all over Miami Beach in the disc jockeys' cars.
But at the end of the day, the essence of what I just said, you have to be addicted to bettering yourself.
Here's a third difference between character and charisma that's particularly important in a leadership situation. Charismatic people have to keep pulling rabbits out of the hat.
I kept going, lose, or when I kept going, and then it really started to click. What he was telling me was he didn't have anything to tell me I cannot. I can't sugarcoat this. Ass woman is what it is. You're going to take your lumps, but if you keep going, if you don't quit, you're going to get better. You're going to get better, and you're going to get better. Because you're going to not only see why you're coming up short and get smarter and incorporate these things in your training to get better. You're going to get stronger. You're going to know that you got weightlifting, a little different program. You got to stay with it. You just have to get a little older.
Finally, one day I was at the radio station, and a guy by the name of Rock was drinking while he was on the air. It was a Saturday afternoon. I was the only one there. None of the other jocks were available. And I was looking at him through the control room window. Pretty soon the phone rang. It was the general manager. I said, hello? He said, Les, this is Mr. Klein. I said, I know. He said, Rock can't finish his program. I said, I know. He said, would you call one of the other DJs to come in? I said, yes, sir. I hung the phone up. I said, now he must think I'm crazy. I called my mom and my girlfriend, Cassandra. I said, y'all come out on the front porch and turn up the radio. I'm about to come on the air. I waited for about 20 minutes, and I called him back. I said, Mr. Klein, I can't find nobody. He said, young boy, do you know how to segue the records? I said, yes, sir. He said, go in there and don't say nothing here. I said, yes, sir. I couldn't wait to get behind those controls.
Honestly, be addicted to bettering yourself. Not for anybody else or anything else. You have to be addicted to bettering yourself if you want to achieve the level of success that you ultimately want to achieve. At some point in life, we're all going to struggle. And I think that's what you're getting to. We're going to be confronted with something. There's going to be some obstacles that we feel that, we can't overcome. Or when you're on your path to success, there's always going to be those roadblocks here and there. It's a part of life. And I think that's what's so rewarding when we do achieve what we achieve.
I put the headphones on. I said, look out, this is me, LB Triple P, Les Brown, your platter playing Papa. There were none before me and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single and love to mingle, certified, bona fide, indubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction, whole lot of action. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry. It makes you feel better when you are able to have charge of your destiny, doesn't it? Gives you a good feel. It gives you choices. You can do more things. Living a dream, changing your life, it's hard. It's hard when you lose all your money, when you've given it the best that you have, when you have some major setback, it's hard. When a doctor looked at me and said the 3 horrible words no one wants to hear, you have cancer. It was hard to mobilize my mind and spirit, to listen to tapes and music and read scripture and be around other people and seeking out other.
Because of those failures, because of those struggles, because of those roadblocks. Those roadblocks can come in different forms. It can be your own mental roadblocks. It could be just outside criticism. It could be media. It could be anything. It could be personal problems. It could be family problems. It could be something as simple as you driving, you get a flat tire. Anything can trigger you and to try to get you off track. Those are struggles. And then just from an athletic standpoint, that's going to happen. And it's always, it's really how you respond to it. So whether it's in business, personal, it's in sports. But at the end of the day, we're all going to struggle. I struggled, but I didn't quit. And that's what I encourage a lot of people to do. Just don't quit. Just don't give up. That's what I would say.
I always reflected on that so anytime it got hard, especially in basketball, I just say, hey, keep going, don't stop, keep going. And so, although simple, that definitely ended up being one of the best pieces of advice that I got in my career. You watch basketball, you hear about how clutch people are, and it's not always making the last shot. It's under pressure, doing what you're supposed to do and coming out unsuccessful. So sometimes it will be a big rebound, sometimes it would be an assist, sometimes.
The magic of their presence has got to keep expressing itself, or people might start wondering where it went. Worse yet, they might start getting bored. One of the biggest pitfalls for a charismatic leader comes straight from his or her ability to inspire love and devotion. And this is the last point I want to make. In order to bask in the warm glow of a leader's approval, people may become reluctant to voice disagreements. There are people who become isolated because subordinates are afraid of them. But the same isolation can occur as a result of misplaced affection. People of character are usually well loved by everyone around them.
But as an over-level goal, I'm trying to reach fulfillment. I'm trying to live a joyful life. Okay, that's the point of fulfillment. If it were going to bring me joy to sit and wallow in what a loser asshole I am, then I would do it. But the reality is that it doesn't. It works just enough to get me moving. But once I'm moving, now I need to remind myself of all the potential that I have. that that's a step in the journey of improvement. That improvement is a foundational pillar of human happiness. That I need to be making progress in order for me to attain fulfillment. That to get fulfillment, I've got to build a set of skills really hard. That there is a subconscious process in my brain rewarding me for doing hard things. So here I am. I'm doing one of those hard things, getting over that problem. So I don't stay there. I don't allow myself to stay in the negativity and the pain and the suffering, but I do leverage it to get myself moving.
It would be defense, sometimes. It would be. Not making a fuss if coach sucked me out. Anytime I hit big shy mean. Everyone would be just like, wow, I would be surprised if I didn't make it. I put the work into this like every day, all day, and then when I'm done with it, guess what I do? I dream about it. I visualize it. I see myself being successful. I see myself hitting those shots with no time on the clock, with a little time on the clock, and then I'll do it again and say, hey, what if we're down 2? Then I'll do it again and say, what if we're down 3? It's a never-ending game.
But they make it clear that their own first love is for the truth, even if it hurts. I'd like to elaborate a bit on a comparison I made earlier about how creating your character is like an artist creating a sculpture. The essential point is this: I don't think character is something that just happens by itself, any more than a chisel can create a work of art without the hand of an artist guiding it. In both instances, a conscious decision has been made. A conscious process of design is at work. Character is the result of hundreds and hundreds of choices you may make that gradually turn who you are at any given moment into who you want to be. If that decision-making process is not present, you'll still be somebody. You'll still be alive, but may have a personality rather than a character.
Now, if you're going to err on either side, err on the side of over-soothing yourself. Because let me tell you, all the achievement in the world is going to be absolutely fucking meaningless if you had to beat yourself into emotional oblivion to get yourself to take action. So remember, the point of all of this is a joyful life. When you hear me talking about how hard I work, that I focus on my inadequacies, all of that, I do it in a way that elevates me, that makes me feel better about myself, that brings more joy to my life, because I never feel trapped by who I am today. I feel completely liberated by the fact that I can become someone better tomorrow by putting in the work today. Just that little bit of suffering to get yourself moving, a little bit of focusing on the pain that you fucked up, that you could do better, that you expect better. But then it's on to focusing on progress, putting in the work, and being proud of yourself for doing that.
I was successful in those situations. I would always let people know. It's through dedication, through your hard work, and through mental preparation and visualization if you do those things. If you can see yourself being successful in your mind, then it will appear in the physical reality if you're calm and collected when you get the opportunity, or sometimes we get the opportunity and we rush it. You have to have total commitment and dedication, and you have to have faith too, because I've worked hard enough to be in this position. I'm going to let my training kick in because I've been here before.
There are only 2 human emotions, love and fear. All other emotions stem either directly or indirectly from these 2 base emotions. But fear is an illusion created by this reality, because all that truly exists within the singularity is love. That's all there is, and love is all there can possibly be, because there is only one. There is only the singularity. So how can there be any other emotion at all? Indeed, how can there even be any concept of emotion? Within the singularity there exists only the singularity, and the singularity is love. There is nothing else, and this love is not perceived as emotion, it just is. There is only love. It's being aware of this singularity that allows true understanding to occur. And people ask, well, what can I do to help myself become more aware of this singularity? And the answer is to live in love yourself. Now when I say live in love, again, I'm not talking about the television version of love. I'm not saying that we all put flowers in our hair and sit around singing a song. I'm talking about real love, true empathy, and real understanding for all. And so what is love, and how does one live in love and understanding of all others? Well, here's the trick, you see. You do it by being aware of the singularity of which we're all part of course. Now that may sound like I'm talking in circles and I just returned to the beginning, but I didn't. Because you see, real love lies in the true understanding that there is no other. There is only the singularity. When you can truly understand that, and when you can fully realize that when you look at another person, you are not seeing another person. You are seeing another image of yourself, another manifestation of the singularity. Then you can truly understand what actual love is. Because real love comes from the true understanding that we are each other. We bear a single consciousness. The divisions that supposedly exist between us are an illusion. How can you not love another person? That person is you. So how can you not love them? How can you not love all other people when they are all you? And when you realize that all the divisions between us are an illusion. Once people realize the truth of this, well then the entire system of control we live under simply breaks down. And how do you do it, and where do you start? Well, you do it by realizing that we are all one. There is no other. You do it by doing what is right in everything, rather than doing what is right for yourself personally, or what is right for the company, or what is appropriate for the occasion, or even what the law requires. You just do what is right. All the time, in everything. Realize and truly understand that when you do the wrong thing, the person who must suffer the consequences is simply a mirror of yourself. So all you have done is hurt yourself, and you have divided just a little bit further both society and the one consciousness that we are all part of.
And the key to reaching its goal of this global fascist dystopia is to divide and rule the target population. And my goodness, how they have worked to do that. The cult, the global cult of secret societies and semi-secret groups has everyone, all sides, in its gun sights. Whether Trump supporters in the Midwest or the wokers of California, all cultures, all races, all sexualities, all political beliefs are all in the gun sights of this cult. And if we go on being divided, then they will succeed. But it doesn't have to be. The answer is staring us in the bloody face. How can a few control the many unless the many acquiesce to that imposition? It's impossible. It's unenforceable. So the answer has to be not finding a solution to what's going on, but removing the cause of the problem, which is human acquiescence to our own enslavement. As I've said many times, fascists do not impose fascism. There's not enough of them. Fascism is imposed by the population acquiescing to fascism. And if that stops, it's over. If it doesn't stop, this cult will reach its endgame of total human control via, not least, an AI connection to the human mind. So AI becomes the human mind. But there are many great things happening. And we need to build massively and very quickly upon that. For someone who's been investigating this for 30 years, I've never seen anything like what's happened in 2020. The numbers of people now who are starting to see the world is not like they thought it was, and certainly is not controlled by who they thought it was, has been growing massively.
So it is not, therefore it's not that easy often to say, where does this feeling that I have arise? Where does this feeling originate? Now, does it come from a deeper, the intuitive place? Intuition comes out of being present. Intuition does not come out of the conditioning of your mind. So, if you have an intuition, also, it is usually not tainted by negativity such as anger or fear. So there is something certain about it, that there is a quiet strength behind your feeling, a quiet strength. There's not a nervous energy behind your feeling. There's more. You just know this is right. You may not be able to explain to yourself or others why. It has a different quality. There's a peaceful quality to it. Now, let's just imagine, to come back to the story that happened with this young woman. Of course, it could have been that theoretically I could have been a psycho and actually could not be trusted not to kill her. Theoretically, that's possible. So I don't know what the answer to this is, but I know from my own life, whenever there is a deep realization of what the right course of action is, it is always, there's a peace with it. And even if there's a psycho there, you know with absolute certainty that this is not right for you. There's an energetic imbalance which comes from a deeper place. But I cannot really explain in words. You have to, through life experience, you have to find out for yourself what a deeper feeling that comes out of presence and is a true intuition, how it is different from something that arises from the conditioning of your mind.